Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone. For Module 5, we have with us Professor Lakhvinder Singh as our guest speaker. Professor Singh is currently a visiting professor of economics at Institute for Human Development, New Delhi. Prior to this, Professor Singh has been professor and head Department of Economics, Punjab University, Patiala. He has founded Center for Development Economics and Innovation Studies at Punjab University, Patiala. He is also the founding editor of Millennial Asia, an international journal of Asian studies published by SAGE. This journal is indexed in Scopus and Clarion Analytics. He has contributed 10 books and more than 100 research articles in various reputed journals and leading national dailies. He has authored Agrarian Distress and Farmer Suicides in North India, which is published by Routledge in 2020. Professor Singh is a Vice President of the Indian Society of Labour Economics and a coordinator of India Leagues, which is a chapter of Global Leagues in India. He has held several visiting positions, including at Yale University, USA, and at Seoul National University, South Korea. His specialization is in development economics, innovation system, regional economics, area studies, and Punjab economy. He has a teaching experience of more than 32 years and has successfully supervised 21 PhDs. So we will learn about National Innovation System from Professor Singh. Thank you.
Today we will talk about National Innovation System, context, theory, application and policy. This is a very important area of interest, especially to the student of innovation studies. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Ruchi Sharma for giving me this opportunity to interact with the students through online mode. So I'm happy to talk to the student today. So in this lesson, what we are going to learn here is several things. That is, context of the rise of the idea of a national innovation system, epochal innovation and economic development, the concept of national innovation system and evolution, the components of national innovation system, relationship between organization and institutions, the main functions of national innovation system, relation between components and functions in NIS, boundaries of national innovation system, types of innovation system, national innovation system, regional innovation system, sectoral innovation system, and application of NIS at various levels across the globe. Then we have a public policy that is being influenced by the national innovation system. To begin with, we all know that technology played a very important role in the first industrial revolution, which occurred in England, spread over to the 13 important developed countries of the world. And then you will find that various economists have tried to understand how the economic transformation over a long period of time has happened over a period of time. And then you will find that they have also examined that how development took place in these countries in 2.5 century period of time since the Industrial Revolution. So one of the very important economists, Simon Kuznets, has used the term called epochal innovation, which he has talked about that this is going to divide the history of economic development into two parts, that is pre-industrial revolution and post-industrial revolution. That does mean that epochal innovation dramatically or revolutionary changed the whole system of production, as well as you will find that it has been given a departure from the low level to a high level of productivity in economic activities, especially in the industrial sector of the economy. So therefore, the innovation is synonymously talked about a high degree rise of productivity of the workforce of the people living in a particular country, and then you'll find that it has also transformed the economic structure of the countries which we call as the developed countries of the world. However, you'll find that in a recent period, in the last quarter of the 20th century, as well as of the 21st century, where you'll find that East Asian countries like South Korea and nowadays China has transformed their economies at a very short period of time, and they have matched the production structure of the developed countries of the world, as well as they have raised per capita income. And you will all know that in the year 1996 the South Korea has been adopted as a member in the OECD countries, that means declared as the developed country of the world. So during this particular period of time, you will find that when we examine long transition over a long period of time, because a large number of less developed countries like Global South, including India, has been asking the question and striving through policies the transformation process, and would like to catch up and develop as a developed economy of the world. So therefore, what is important here is to understand the question arises why Global South is lagging behind or is struggling for a transformation of their economies, but fail to do that. That is the fundamental question which one has to ask about, that why innovations has been successful in some countries of the world but not successful in other countries of the world. So therefore, you'll find that usually it is being talked about by the various economies of the world as Simon Kuznets has talked about epochal innovation, but recently the economists have talked about that solution lies in developing the national innovation system of the developing countries, especially of the Global South. Now you can consider a very important issue which we can talk about is that recently, through two examples, recently the Chandrayaan 3 is already in quite close to reaching to moon, and this is the mission which has been developed by India. But if you look in terms of the other countries of the world, like the first landing on moon, which has occurred long ago, but by the USSR, nowadays called Russia. Earlier it was called USSR, and then you will find that the second success has been occurred with a little time period, that is from the 66 to 69. That is United States of America developed two programs, Surveyor program as well as Apollo program. China has Chang's program, which also succeeded very recently to reaching on moon, having a smooth landing. However, you'll find that India has been struggling in this area, even though the innovations are known to us for a long period of time, especially after 54 years of this development. You'll find that India is talking about to reaching to moon. So that does mean one has to understand how innovations are risky, how innovations are difficult to replicate, even if those are known to us. So that means inventions, innovations and technology is very difficult to replicate. So that means the first moon mission was in September 12, 1959. That was crashed, it was of Russia. Second soft landing on moon has happened in the year 1966 by USSR, and then you'll find that man on moon was placed in 1969 by the United States of America. But you'll find that January 3, 2019, the Chang's program, which is an uncrewed satellite system which has reached to moon and landed on moon. So therefore now we have 54 years of anniversary of man walking on moon, but you'll find the Indian mission is still moving without or unmanned kind of mission which is going on moon. So the another very important example to understand in this context is the Green Revolution of India. You will find that the Green Revolution of India was spreading only into the Green Revolution three important states, that is Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. You'll find that still this Green Revolution after 1966, successful arrival of the Green Revolution, solving the problem of security, food security of the country, but still you'll find that what happened is that difficult to spread to other parts of the country. Similarly, you'll find that the first industrial revolution remained concentrated mainly in the developed countries of the world, and after a long period of time, the East Asian experience replicated that kind of experience which was observed and benefited to the developed countries of the world. So therefore, Green Revolution similarly in India could not succeed in the African countries because of several kind of differences which we are going to talk about when we will discuss how evolution of the national innovation system has happened. So therefore you will find that the most important aspect of or the lesson which we can draw from here is research failure teach us lessons. That means research is a risky project and it is almost exploring a black box. Therefore you'll find that we need to develop some kind of capabilities which are expected to be very, very important. Now you'll find that capability does mean that how you are going to innovate. First of all, what you have to understand here is that the fundamental capability to innovate are very important, and you will find that the organizational learning has to take place, and history as a key factor that determines how economic organizations or economic actors doing their activities over a long period of time to understand and develop capabilities to achieve or produce certain goods and services which perhaps earlier not possible. So therefore you will find that capability building can only happen if systematic investment has been done in this particular area or should be done. So therefore the fundamental requirements to build the capabilities is investment. If right kind of investment is not made, and over a long period of time you are not nurturing your factors of production, especially the human capital, which plays a very important role in terms of developing capabilities, using those capabilities, and then you'll find replicating the experience of other countries and learning from them, and then rising and developing a counter to what has been already innovated. So new innovations can take place. Here you will find that the role of public policy turns out to be very important in the sense because the public policy has to determine the incentive to make investment in capability buildings which in future are expected to be flourished, and it has also to disincentivize that those capabilities which are not required or not going to be in the desired directions. Therefore, you will find that disincentive what kind of capabilities and innovation to be developed that is very important, and public policy is very important to direct the incentives to develop the right kind of capabilities. That is or the main strength of the innovation system. So therefore, obviously, the innovation is not a isolation process. It is, you'll find that nation require it because of the development which we are expected to achieve. So therefore, the national interest prevails, and that is more important for all of us. So therefore, economic actors are not only internally, domestically, but also going to compete in the global scenario. So therefore, what is going to happen is that the nations which are more competitive, or the organizations of a particular nation which are more competitive, hence you will find that that is the country which is expected to develop over a long period of time. So therefore, or sustain the development process over a long period of time. So therefore, you will find that capabilities, competitiveness, and economic development are quite integrated with each other. Now, when we look in terms of the evolution of the innovation system, we have to go back to the recent history of the early 90s, when you'll find that the economists were asking questions, especially in the European countries of the world, that why the developed countries are able to develop as well as grow continuously for a long period of time, to increase per capita income as well as transform their economies, and why the less developed country or global south is not able to replicate that kind of processes which has occurred in the developed countries of the world to transform human being as more productive, as well as you'll find the system and the economic structure has been transformed over a long period of time. So therefore, the alternative to this question was that why the global south is poor but the north is relatively very rich. So you'll find that why these differences persist for a long period of time. So that is the question has been asked by Christopher Freeman of Sapru in the University of Sussex as early as in the year 1982. But formally, in a published form in the year 1987, Christopher Freeman used the terminology of national innovation system, and he has given due credit to a German economist called Friedrich List, who wrote a book long ago, 1841, where he has argued and entitled his book National System of Political Economy, where you'll find that the fundamental idea which has been talked about, that this system has been working in an interlinked manner rather than in an isolation manner. So therefore, he has picked up this terminology from Friedrich List, made it national innovation system, because Christopher has used innovation as a core idea of economic development and competitiveness across countries. So what Freeman has argued was that there is a differential economic performance across countries and over time, but it is mainly designed by the technological policies of the nation state. So therefore, he has learned a lesson from Friedrich List, try to emulate as well as translate it into a new idea called national innovation system, where you'll find the core of the issue which he has placed was the technological policies. So what he has argued here is that competitive advantage of nations is fundamentally dependent on the capabilities building over a long period of time by the nation state. So therefore, what he has been argued is that the efficient use of technologies and reverse engineering is very important components of the innovation system, where you will find that the understanding as well as using efficiently the existing technologies plays a very important role. But you will find that more important is reverse engineering, that means replicating them in a better way. So therefore you will find that this is going to change the competitiveness of the organizations or of economic actors of a nation state over a long period of time. So therefore what he has argued here is that it is very important to understand that how one of the developed economy called how Germany government has played an important role in establishing in-house research and development units, and then you'll find that played an important role to coordinate between industry and in the labs which has been in-house labs which has been developed. So this has resulted in the country like Germany, and that is the technical progress and economic development has played a very important role, because technology has been a core consideration in a modern economic development, and therefore you'll find technology played a very important role in these countries. Subsequently, two economists have developed further the idea of a national system of innovation. Those are very well-known names called Richard Nelson from the United States of America and Bendoke Lundvall from Europe. So what Nelson has emphasized is that he has conducted several case studies but not emphasized on the development of the theory of national innovation system. But he has tried to give us a idea that how the existing innovation systems in the developed countries are functioning. So therefore Lundvall has actually attempted to provide us the theoretical foundations in alternative to new classical economics. So therefore you'll find that the national innovation system was expected to be provided theoretical foundations, which essential aspect of these foundations has been done by Professor Lundvall, who has argued that we require an alternative way to express how technologies has played a very important role, or how innovation has played a very important role, or how innovation has actually developed over a long period of time, and compared to new classical economics, where the technology was described as an exogenous factor of production. Therefore, his emphasis was on interactive learning, user-producer interaction, and innovation at the center of analysis. So therefore, Lundvall has provided a wherewithal for a theoretical proposal for developing an alternative system, which he has called National Innovation System. So Lundvall, in his important study in the year 1992, argued that the structure of production and institutional setup are two most important dimensions that jointly defined the innovation system. So, however, Nelson Rosenberg singled out organizations supporting R&D was the fundamental component of the national innovation system. They emphasize those organizations which are doing research and development expenditure that promote the creation and dissemination of knowledge as the main source of innovation. So therefore what Lundvall has argued here is that Lundvall has given a relatively broader approach that recognizes narrow R&D organizations and embedded in much wider socio-economic system in which political and cultural influences are important, that plays an important role in economic policies that determine the scale, direction, and relative success of all innovation activities. So therefore you'll find that we have to understand that how evolution of the national system of innovation has came into being. Therefore most important emphasis was the national innovation system has been defined in terms of determinants or the factors that influence innovation processes. Therefore, you'll find that even Nelson as well as the Lundvall approach both has been talking about that what determines the innovation system. So therefore, the factors that determine innovation processes, that is very important, and you'll find that Nelson has relatively narrow in his approach, but you will find that the Lundvall has expanded and provided a broad theoretical approach which talks about a larger societal factors that plays a very important role to understand the how innovations processes are being determined. So therefore, you'll find that it is being argued that innovation system is a relatively loose term and has been talking about that learning is very important, interaction is very important, the culture and institutions are very important. Therefore, you'll find that it is almost a descriptive kind of theory, but you'll find that there are certain attempts which are going on, and you'll find that one of the very important economists called Charles Adquist, who has several times tried to attempt to provide us a model of national innovation system, and he has a unique way to define the national innovation system. Therefore, his definition and interpretation of his definition is very important to understand the concept of innovation which has come into being in the current world. So therefore, you'll find that Adquist in the year 1997 has developed a more general definition of national innovation system, which was required to develop a comprehensive analysis of national innovation system to include the processes of innovations and the factor that determine those processes. Maybe those processes, he has argued, are economic. These can be social, these are political, these are organizational, these are institutional, and other factors that influence the development, diffusion, and use of innovation. So that means he has argued that those factors which perhaps we are not able to define, those are also very important factors, or which we assume those factors are given, those are very important factors that need to be understand so that to define the innovation system. So he has also attempted to provide a generalized theory of innovation system. Therefore, you'll find that he wanted to graduate from the national innovation system discussions and the idea of a national innovation system to move from a descriptive theorization, although the Nelson and Winter has defended descriptive theorization is also very important aspect of theorization, because large number of people, those who are not trained highly in mathematical language, you'll find that they find it very difficult to understand most of the neoclassical economic theories which are really very important, but you'll find that having a large foundations in mathematical theorems, those are not in the reach of common economists as well as of the even the general layman or the theorists and policymakers. So therefore, they have defended that descriptive theorization is a theorization, but still you'll find Adquist is arguing that we require to understand and define our concepts and provide them meanings, and a model is very important if we have to compete with the theory which has been developed by the neoclassical world. So therefore, you'll find that that is the kind of understanding which has been talked about over a long period of time to understand how the national innovation system is going to be very important. Now, in this context, you'll find that the less developed country has been learning a lot, and the lot of technologies, imported technologies, which are being replicated here. but you'll find that those technologies are still not able to generate the dynamism that has been generated in the developed countries of the world. That does mean that the new idea or new concept of national innovation system is very important to understand, that fundamentals are very important to understand and talk about, so that you'll find that the capability building over a long period of time, and you'll find that in the recent COVID period we have been realized that the weak innovation system were not able to protect their population from the kind of devastation impacts which has occurred, because the health care system, which requires a lot of innovations, those innovations were not there because of the capabilities were not there. So a large number of global south was dependent on the developed countries of the world, and developed countries of the world over a long period of time has developed an innovation system which is serving them more compared to serving them the less developed countries. And that system was very difficult to be replicated in the less developed countries, because you will find that the wanted capabilities, the wanted institutional arrangement, the wanted use of these kind of capabilities were lacking, and we had a lower productivity as well as the dynamism of that system which was expected to happen has not happened, and therefore the less developed country continue to remain less developed, but the developed countries are continue to lead, and the gap between rich and poor are increasing both across countries as well as within countries. And therefore, if we have to be inclusive, sustainable, and removing the poverty, inequity over a long period of time, then you'll find that we have to embrace the national innovation system to understand where we are lagging and how we can forge ahead compared to the developed countries of the world. Thank you very much.